The Jets, are an old football team. They're basically, they're probably their best shot though is in the long term for their overall like success of the team. And they're looking at Mike Glennon as a possible quarterback there. Now, obviously, they're putting Mike Glennon there is so they can develop Christian Hackenberg. And obviously, Ryan Fitzpatrick, Geno Smith, Jets fans are like, go fuck yourself, basically. That's the equivalent of it. Also, Bryce Petty as a backup quarterback. He looks like he's going to be the equivalent of Ryan Nassib for a New York Giants. So he's going to be a career backup. So he's going to be there for a long time. Similar to Matt Moore of the Miami Dolphins. I think that is a possibility right there. So a guy that's going to be there for a couple of seasons, just kind of there. And also, when I look at Todd Bowles, is I look at Matt Forte. You can't give him too many handoffs. There might be some running backs that you could look to in this possible draft. I know Leonard Fournette is kind of an interesting name. Christian McCaffrey might be a guy that I feel like Todd Bowles would take a lot of interest in, maybe because he's a good dual threat running back, similar to Matt Forte. And hey, it's great because you got Matt Forte as an old veteran, and then Christian McCaffrey can sit right behind him, and then they can learn a lot from that. Also, if I'm the Jets, I would definitely look for a left tackle. Obviously, their offense does not look the same without DeBrickashaw Ferguson. And when you look at Ryan Fitzpatrick just looked absolutely terrible this season. He's usually just an average quarterback. He looked horrendous this season. And I really feel like because he was feeling rushed, and that's why they cut Ryan Clady. And I definitely feel like they're going to try to go for a left tackle. And offensive linemen, you can basically find them anywhere in the draft. Hell, Jason Peters, one of the best career left tackles for the Eagles, perennial Pro Bowler, was undrafted. They found him on the Patriots practice squad, brought him in, and boom, they found themselves a career left tackle right there. So, hey, finding a left tackle isn't too difficult, but you need to have a good one. I also see that they could build around, not build around, but bring in Sebastian Vollmer. I think he could be a very good fit right there. And then when it comes to the Jets, I know their tight end situation. They have Austin Seferian-Jenkins, who might be an interesting pick right there. They might just keep him. And honestly, he's a very athletically gifted tight end. He kind of reminds me of Jermaine Gresham, similar to what the Arizona Cardinals did a couple years ago if they had him. So that could be a guy that they could definitely look at. Obviously, they could go for Martellus Bennett. That could definitely be an interesting guy right there. But on the interior side, I would definitely look at, in the lower rounds, look for a backup center because Nick Mangold, he's getting beat up back there. Like, he is getting beat up. And also, with the concussions and all that and the amount of contact he takes, I would definitely invest in that. And hell, if you can't find a center, can't find one of those guys, maybe get a fullback just to help him out there. So maybe you could just get some yardage in on the short plays, you know what I'm saying, goal line and all that. And I know Todd Bowles likes to throw it in, so Brandon Marshall needs to step his game up. And also Eric Decker, obviously, needs to he's a good goal line target to go to. And so you look at that, they have some interesting stuff. So they just need a quarterback that can honestly just score in the goal line, who can just make that precise throw. And obviously, Todd Bowles doesn't really like to run it in that much. And that's similar to what they use David Johnson with the Cardinals. So I would say that if I'm the Jets, if you want to be better on the goal line, invest in the offensive line. Because obviously Todd Bowles' system at one point did work. He needs to make some modifications here. Now, when it comes to letting players go and all that, I think possible people that they could trade is Brandon Marshall, Eric Decker, guys who are kind of, their contracts are kind of leaning down. I could see Brandon Marshall being traded to the New York Giants. Obviously, it's not a hostile trade. He goes to the New York Giants. Obviously, it's the same state. Hell, plays in the same stadium, too. And obviously, one thing about Brandon Marshall is why you might like being a New York Giant is the fact that he, in a commercial, says he likes to help people. He likes to bring it up. He can help Odell Beckham Jr., and then he's also on a winning team. And so maybe the Jets, they feel like they want to part away with a player. They part away to a better team and all of that. So, and obviously Eric Decker, he has some injury concerns. You could trade him. I could see him going back to Denver, and then maybe if you put him in Denver, they could attract a quarterback. So I feel like the Jets should invest in the long term, and that should be better. But I think the Jets have the potential to go 8-8 this season. All they need to do is get a quarterback that doesn't screw up that much. I look at Mike Lemon. He's an arm quarterback, very strong arm, but he has a 2-to-1 touchdown ratio instead of a 1-to-2 touchdown ratio that Ryan Fitzpatrick had. So obviously you already have an upgrade right there. So that'll be very helpful. And obviously you might see Christian Hackenberg halfway through the season. I think that's something you can look at. But definitely on the offensive line, look for run blockers, look for them. When it comes to the defensive line, bring in some competition right there, because those sometimes with defensive linemen, they can sometimes lack when it comes to competition and all that. There might be some interesting guys you could look at. Nick Fairley had some production right there at the defensive tackle position at one point. You could possibly look at Greg Hardy. I know Greg Hardy's an asshat and all that, but he might be a decent guy. Jason Pierre-Paul of the Giants, his future probably isn't going to be in New York. They're probably going to replace him with like Chandler Jones or something like that. And also look at linebacker. Think about getting a third middle linebacker. Not too high. You could just get a guy just to be behind David Harris, because David Harris is getting up there in age. And imagine if you have Darren Lee and then another decent middle linebacker right there. That's not a bad trade right there. Also, I look at Gilchrist. That could be something that an interesting way that they could do. I mean, he's a decent player, but an upgrade wouldn't hurt. I wonder if he's going to bring in Jefferson and let Gilchrist go. Obviously, Jefferson is a guy that Todd Bowles coached himself in Arizona, so that could be a possible move right there. Or they could go for the home run and go for Eric Berry. Very good safety right there. Now, when it comes to the franchise tag, don't worry about the franchise tag. I don't think there's really any players you really have to worry about. Honestly, sometimes you don't want to put the franchise tag on a player. You don't want to overpay a player by like $5 million. It's just stupid. It hurts the cap and all that. And also, I know they made a lot of there's a lot of stuff going around when it comes to like getting to the playoffs, competing in the playoffs. This is not their year. Just get 8-8. Get a couple offensive linemen here and there. Build the trenches. On the offensive side of the ball, defensive side of the ball, leave them to be. And when it comes to secondary, you might have to redraft them. I think you might have to replace Darrelle Revis with Marshawn Lattimore, make Marshawn Lattimore the #1 corner, put Buster Street at #2, and actually maybe consider investing into a #3. I think that could be interesting. Todd Bowles might not like that system, but I think there could be some interesting players there. Maybe they can look at Dwight Freeney. He's a veteran right there that they could possibly put in there, put them in a situation if they're really aggressive, they really want to perform out there. And also another player I could see that they could possibly trade away to get some value out of is Bilal Powell. Obviously, if they want to trade Bilal Powell to a team that needs a receiving back, and trust me, there's a lot of teams that need a receiving back. Look at the New Orleans Saints. The New Orleans Saints need a receiving back. So why don't you trade some sort of player off the Saints to get something at least? I mean, the Saints have some decent players right here and there that you can go after. I definitely possibly could look at some. I know they don't have a great defense, but you could get like some sort of early draft pick maybe out of it if you can't get a player. But that's definitely something that you could do. I think that's something that the Jets could do. And I just look at 2017. Just try to be middle of the pack. Try to be average. Just get that O-line there, get Christian Hackenberg happy, and then make sure you have a replacement for Forte, and make sure you have a replacement for Marshall. So basically, aim for 8-8, and make sure you have the replacements there. And they might already have some replacements there, but they're going to need some people at backup running back, backup center right there, and all of that. All right, NYJ. Just strive to be average. Just be average in 2017.